Hi everyone. Okay, so here's a new Nautilus, and this one is different than my last bunch of Nautiluses. I got to get that straight if it's going to be Nautiluses or Nautili. But anyway, I'll just stick with Nautiluses for now. Nautils. This one's made out of Honduran mahogany. A pretty curly set, if you can see that curl in the video. Tunnel 14, which has like a tonally nice look. It almost looks like an all mahogany guitar, you know, so it's this beautiful brown instrument. And Ezra, who ordered this guitar, wanted some color on there, and he chose green. So I made green purflings and green diamonds to go on it. And I think the green and the reddish color, sort of being complementary colors, really gives it a great look. And the binding is ebony. So even though it's got a little flash to it, it's still pretty subdued. And a nice matching curly headstock veneer. This guitar has double bevels, a leg bevel and a back bevel, as well as the mandatory arm bevel, which are features that now that I've played with them, I just don't ever want to do without them. They're so comfy. Let me play a little bit and you can see how this baby sounds. I never plan what I'm going to play, so let's see. So there was a little like manic journey through many different styles of music. I think when people see this guitar, or I'm forced to create some kind of definition for what it is. I say it's a fingerstyle guitar, but it can play anything. You can play anything on this guitar. As a matter of fact, you can play anything on any guitar. There are certain guitars like, okay, so you have a Selmer Macaferri, and that's really associated with, gypsy style jazz, hot club stuff, or if you have a flamenco guitar or a classical guitar, these have styles that they're intended for or are closely associated with. But then you have players like, okay, Jerry Rice playing, smoking country music on a classical guitar. You can play whatever the instrument inspires you to play. And although this guitar has the multi-scale length, which gives you the nice bottom end, and a slightly wider fingerboard at 1 13/16 that may be associated with fingerstyle guitars, I play almost exclusively with a flat pick, and I think they're great for that. So you can do whatever you want on this instrument. The proximity of the sound hole to the player, along with the fact that there is not an X brace inside this instrument. It's a radially braced instrument, and the X brace isn't there to lock up the top, gives you this tremendous amount of movement in the top, and you just get a big, this is a fairly small guitar, about like a Martin OM in size, but the bass response and the mid-range, actually the whole thing is just much more responsive in general than an instrument of that size that you would expect. So, that just. A very warm mid-range, plenty of jangle on the top end. I'm getting very beatly. But the big bass. I love the big, firm bass. It's not a sloppy bass. It's a tight, articulated bass. These instruments are really capable of playing any style. And I stand by that. Doggone it. This is unusual for me in that I don't build a lot of mahogany guitars. I've always thought of myself as a rosewood guy. But I've built a few mahogany guitars recently. I did a Sidewinder and I did this one. And it really makes me rethink mahogany. Mahogany is one of those woods that's all over the place. Like, you get some sets and they're just like, meh. They're like packing material. Like, just build a crate out of it, whatever. And then you get certain pieces that are so musical, like when they're just in their, the two pieces that you're going to join together to make a back. They're about 3/16 of an inch by, say, 9 by 22 inches. And just handling them and dropping them on the bench and moving them around, that you can tell they're so musical. And they're really light. So, you can see why mahogany has become one of the standard woods for guitars. Good examples of mahogany make fantastic guitars. I'm really pleased with how this thing came out. And topped with the redwood top, which also tends to have a little bit more of a mellow profile. It just has almost like you could play like Jim Hall jazz guitar on this. And you can still jangle with it and play Sweet Home Alabama if you want to. So anyway, I've gone on. I loved how this guitar looked. It was fun to build with the different colors, with the green and the brown. It's very pleasant to hold. It's lightweight at just over 4 pounds. Makes it feel really special and sort of like fragile, and it's not a particularly fragile instrument, but you feel like it's a delicate, precise thing. I've gone on enough. So there it is, my latest Nautilus. And coming up next, I've got a really cool Nautilus to show you, which is made out of a new rosewood to me. It's certainly not a new rosewood, but it comes from Mexico, and it's called Palo Escrito, and it is a member of the Dalbergia genus, which has all the rosewoods, which is the rosewood genus. I've never built with it before, and it's really cool. It's lighter weight than even Indian. It's Palo Escrito, I guess it translates from Spanish to like written wood, or wood with writing, because the figure on it has these sort of mysterious glyph like characters. And I'll be excited to show you that guitar. It isn't assembled yet, but boy, it has a great tap tone to it. So that's coming up next. And thank you for watching, and farewell.